The book of Jubilees, chapter 29. Laban became jealous of Jacob's success and begged Jacob to stay for his success, enslaved Jacob. Captain tried to shear his sheep. Witness to this chapter of Jubilees in Genesis 31 in the book of Asher, chapter 32, 37 through 55. The book of Jubilees, chapter 29. And it came to pass when Rachel had borne Joseph that Laban went to shear his sheep, for they were distant from him 3 days' journey. And Jacob saw that Laban was going to shear, in Hebrew is Gaza, cut off, stress, his sheep. And Jacob called Leah and Rachel, and spake kindly unto them, and they should come with him to the land of Canaan. For he told them how he had seen everything in a dream, even all that he had spoken unto him, that he should return to his father's house. And they said, to every place whither thou goest, we will go with thee. And the witness to that is in Genesis 31 in the King James Version. And Jacob blessed the Elohim. And Jacob blessed the Elohim Yahuwah of Isaac and his father, and Elohim Yahuwah of Abraham and his father's father. And he arose and mounted his wives and his children, and took all his possessions, and crossed the river, and came to the land of Gilead. And Jacob hid his intentions from Laban, and told him not. And in the 7th year of the 4th week, Jacob turned his face toward Gilead in the 1st month. And on the 21st thereof, 21:35 a.m., and Laban pursued after him, and overtook Jacob in the mountain of Gilead in the 3rd month, on the 13th thereof. And Yahuwah did not suffer him to injure Jacob, for he appeared to him in a dream by night. And Laban spake to Jacob. And on the 15th of those days Jacob made a feast for Laban, and for all who came with him. And Jacob swore to Laban that day. And Laban also told Jacob that neither should cross the mountain of Gilead to the other with evil purpose. And he made there a heap for a witness, wherefore the name of the place is called the heap of witness, after the heap. But before they used to call the land of Gilead the land of Rephaim, for it was the land of Rephaim, and the Rephaim were born there giants, whose height was 10, 9, 8 down to 7 cubits, and their inhabitants was from the land of children of Ammon to Mount Hermon. And the seats of their kingdom was Cornium and Ashereth and Edria and Misu and Beon. The witness to that is in the book of Asher, chapter 32, verse 37 to 55, and listed below for you to read. And Yahuwah destroyed them because of the evil of their deeds, meaning he destroyed those giants, for they were very malignant, and Amorites dwelt in their stead, wicked and sinful. And there is no people today which has wrought to the full of their sins, and they have no longer length of life on the earth. And Jacob sent away Laban, and he departed into Mesopotamia, the land of the east. And Jacob returned to the land of Gilead, and he pressed over the Jabbok in the 9th month, on the 11th day. Jabbok in the 9th month, on the 11th thereof. And on the day Esau his brother came to him, and he was reconciled to him, and departed from him unto the land of Seir. But Jacob dwelt in tents. And in the 1st year of the 5th week, in Jubilees 21:36 a.m., he crossed the Jordan, and dwelt beyond the Jordan. And he pastured his sheep from the sea of the heaps of Bethshem unto Dothan, and unto the forest of Akabrim. I'm hacking up these names. It's Akrabbim. And he sent to his father Isaac all his substance, clothing and food and meat and drink, and milk and butter and cheese, and some dates of the valley. And to his mother Rebekah also 4 times a year, between the times of the month, between plowing and reaping, and between autumn and the rain season, and between winter and spring, to the tower of Abraham. For Isaac had returned from the wells of the oath, and gone up to the tower of his father Abraham, and had dwelt there apart from his son Esau. For in the days when Jacob went to Mesopotamia, Esau took to himself a wife, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael. And he gathered together all the flocks of his father and his wives, and went up, and dwelt on Mount Seir, and left Isaac his father at the well of the oath alone. And Isaac went up from the well of the oath, and dwelt in the tower of Abraham his father on the mountains of Hebron. And thither Jacob sent all that he did send to his father and his mother from time to time, all they needed, and they blessed Jacob with all their heart, with all their soul. Witness to that in the book of Jubilees, chapter 29, above. The book of Asher 32, chapter 37 through 55, and I'm going to read the inserts of that story. So here we go. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban. Now we're getting to the story, how Laban started to feel, threatened by Jacob's success. Jacob had all these sheep and lambs, and some of the manservants of Laban started seeing how Jacob was prospering and started putting things in Laban's ears, and so he started to look at Jacob with an evil eye and had evil intents. So we're going to get into the story in the book of Asher, how Laban was looking toward Jacob, and how Yah gave both Laban and Jacob a dream to dissolve their differences so Jacob can make it to his destiny. So we're seeing here how Elohim Yahuwah intercedes for us to make sure we stay on the path that we are to go. And those that leaving the upright path, he will also make your enemies at peace with you. So again, the book of Asher, chapter 32, 37 through 55. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban and of his children, and behold, it was not toward him in those days as it had been before. And Yahuwah appeared to Jacob at the expiration of the 6 years, and said unto him, Arise, go forth out of the land, and return to the land of thy birthplace, and I will be there with thee. And Jacob rose up at that time, and he mounted his children and wives, and all belonging to him upon camels, and he went forth to go to the land of Canaan to his father's Isaac. And Laban did not know that Jacob had gone from him, for Laban had been that day sheep shearing. And Rachel stole her father's images, and she took them, and she concealed them upon the camel, upon which she sat, and she went on. And this is the manner of the images, in taking a man who is the firstborn, and slaying him, and taking the hair off his head, and taking salt, and salting the head and anointing it with oil, then taking a small tablet of copper or a tablet of gold, and writing the name upon it, and placing the tablet under his tongue, and taking the head with the tablet under his tongue, and putting it in the house, and lighting up the lights before it, and bowing down to it. Man, that's jacked up. Doing all that for images? Okay. Verse 42. And at the time when they bowed down to it, it speaketh to them in all manner that they ask of it, through the power of the name which it is written in it. And some make them in the figures of men of gold, silver, and gold to them in times known to them. And the figures receive the influence of the stars, and tell them future things, and in the manner were the images which Rachel stole from her father. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And Rachel stole these images which were her father's, in order that Laban might not know through them where Jacob had gone. And Laban came home, and he asked concerning Jacob and his household, and he was not to be found. And Laban sought his images to know where Jacob had gone, and could not find them. And he went to some other images, and he inquired of them, and they told him that Jacob had fled from him to his fathers, to the land of Canaan. And Laban then rose up, and he took his brothers and all his servants, and went forth and pursued Jacob, and he overtook him in Mount Gilead. Now, if images are telling him where to go, there's have to be some kind of witchcraft involved. And Laban said unto Jacob, What is this thou hast done to me, to flee and deceive me, and lead my daughters and their children captives taken by the sword? And thou didst not suffer me to kiss them, and send them away with joy. And thou didst steal my gods, and didst go away. And Jacob answered Laban, saying, Because I was afraid lest thou wouldst take thy daughters by force from me, and now with whomsoever thou findest thy gods, he shall die. And Laban searched for the images, and he examined in all Jacob's tents and furniture, but could not find them. And Laban said unto Jacob, We will make a covenant together, and it shall be a testimony between me and thee. And if thou afflict my daughters, shalt take other wives besides my daughters, even Elohim Yahuwah shall be a witness between me and thee in this matter. And they took stones and made a heap. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and thee thereof. He called the name thereof Gilead. And Jacob and Laban offered sacrifices upon the mount, and they ate there by the heap, and they tarried in the mountain all night. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and he wept with his daughters, and kissed them, and he returned into his place. And he hastened and sent off his son Beor, who was 17 years old, with Abikoff, the son of Uz, the son of Nahor, and with them were 10 men. And they hastened and went and passed on the road before Jacob, and they came by another road to the land of Seir. So that is the end of chapter 29 in the book of Jubilees. And to sum it up, Jacob had a dream that he was to return back home to his father's house, Isaac. And Laban was mad and was jealous. Rachel, his daughter, stole these images that they use as idols and sounds like witchcraft. And Yah intervened, and they made a plea not to cross over each other's boundaries. And there we have it. We will continue in the book of Jubilees, chapter 30, thereon.